What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are back again with another edition of Sisters Wives, episode 2, season 1. Going all the way back. Come on now. But with that being said though, let's give a shout out to every single person that is a member of the channel. Now, of course, episode 1 was quite interesting. I definitely had a lot of assumptions on episode 1 based on where we are now. I wonder what assumptions we're going to come up with in this one. But hey, let's get into the commentary that you all love.
Mary's always been open to more wives. Always. There are times when she would talk to me about, Cody should probably get married again and things like that. I'm like, no, he's not spending enough time with me. Are you kidding me? I don't see him having another wife. You're insane. Oh, like her letter? Oh.
Mary was the one that always wanted an extra wife. I mean, of course, like I said last episode, Christine was definitely the one that never wanted an extra wife, if you know what I mean. Because at the end of the day, she had things she had things the way she wanted it. But with Mary, it's quite interesting how she actually wanted to have an extra wife. Actually, let's proceed. Let me not jump to conclusions or assumptions too soon.
So Cody and I were out one night, and we went over to a friend's house, and Robyn happens to be this friend's cousin, and so that's where we first met Robyn. Robyn and I kind of clicked that night, and then later I told Cody I had to go ask her to dance, and so he did, and that was all she wrote.
So Mary's the one that basically found Robyn, and then brought Robyn into the fold. Interesting. I'm assuming that's how it works though. I mean, I'm assuming that's one of the ways it works within this religion, okay? So the way the wives are allowed to go and not necessarily court another woman, but they can definitely suggest one. I mean, maybe they can court one. No, that would Cody, yeah. But they can definitely suggest another female. Okay, so Mary was the one that was pushing towards it. And it's quite interesting because in this scene itself in particular, Christine voices her own opinion about not really wanting to have an extra wife. And then obviously Mary's the one that obviously speaks on it, but Janelle doesn't say too much. Even though in the previous episode, Janelle did say that she was open to the idea of having one, but it's definitely Mary's the one that's definitely pushed the narrative more than anyone else here. In fact, she's speaking about it more than Cody does. But of course, Cody knows he's getting an extra wife, so what else does he need to say? If you know what I mean. Okay.
In this case, Robyn was really special. Kind of seems like it might click. We'll see how it goes. We have considered a couple people a little bit, like a couple times since then, and it just really wasn't a fit or a match. It didn't get very serious at all. In this case, Robyn was really special. Kind of seems like it might click.
My apologies, I had to play that twice so you can get the actual. Yeah, you saw vibes. Anyway. So, 16 years. They have been trying to court another female, but it never really worked. But then Robyn came along, and for some reason it was special. I mean, Robyn definitely did become special, right? You know what I mean? And I hate to say this. Actually, no, I love to say this. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I hate to say this. But Mary, the forgotten one, was the one that caught another. Well, basically found another woman that then then pushed her even further back. And I say that because obviously Mary is the one that at this moment in time that has legit no love from Cody, period. I mean, obviously Christine has left. Janelle, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But, it's just that Mary is the one that is still trying. That's why Mary stands out, you know what I mean? In terms of like today, she still is trying, even though Mary done the whole catfish situation, do you know what I mean? That broke a lot of trust. So yes, Cody's a narcissist. Yes, Cody's, he's a piece of work. But at the same time though, Mary went over the line and she basically broke that trust to a whole different level. So end of the day, I don't know why Mary believes that she's going to be able to reconcile her relationship with Cody when her relationship with Cody was already damaged anyway, pre the whole catfish, going online anyway, you know what I mean? So Mary just made things even worse for herself, even if there was ever going to be any hope of her and Cody ever rekindling their love ever again, especially when it came to physicality, because physically he hasn't touched majority of them in a long time. Robyn's the only one that's been getting that pipe, and potentially whoever's coming next. If we are going to get people say fifth wife, it won't necessarily be a fifth wife, it can more be like the next fourth wife, because obviously Christine's now out of the picture. You know what I mean?
Now things are unbalanced because of the traveling, but I think that will balance out. Cody's always been very careful with his time. He's careful to make sure that we all have our needs met.
Well, obviously back at this time, Cody was definitely good with obviously mapping up his time, making sure that all the wives were happy to a certain degree. Obviously, they were never going to be completely happy with the amount of time he was going to be spending with each and every one of them, because really and truly, it's a woman's nature to want to have as much time as possible with her man, to be a priority, to be a princess, to be made feel like she is the one. So of course, when you got 3 wives at this moment in time, it was always going to be a matter of, you know, the women being, or the wives being, understanding that he's only got a certain amount of time with each and every one of them. But of course, now they're bringing in Robyn to the picture. That's going to obviously limit their times even more. And this is what I was saying before. We had Christine talking about how she didn't really want an extra wife because she was happy with it. MERI now was like, no, I want one, which is kind of suspect, to be honest with you. But I guess we'll figure that out later on down the line. I don't know. But now Janelle's coming in now, and she's now saying, you know what, but Cody's very good with his time, blah, blah, blah. That's her throwing in a subliminal. That's her basically throwing in there, in my opinion, that bringing in another wife, that's definitely going to make our time together with Cody even more challenging. And let's not forget, this is basically the beginning of Cody now. Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know if it happened in season 1, but we know that since a season, Cody then went non-existent with being physical with any of the wives. And I think even if there were cracks at this moment in time that maybe we haven't been shown yet, you know what I mean? Because right now it's all about happy family and attracting the viewers in, you know. The train wreck stuff starts to come in a little bit later on. That's how TV shows work. But let's say there were cracks anyway within Cody's physicality with some of the wives at this moment in time. Bringing the 4th one was never really going to make it any easier, was it now? But I feel like Janelle is definitely putting in that subliminal and being like, you know, Cody does well, you know, just spending time with all of us. But she didn't say the but you know when the but is there, you know what I mean? It's all about happy families early in the season. Come on, now, that's how these TV shows start. But let's get it. And also, not only is it how this TV shows start, but when you're introducing the world or introducing a new audience to this type of religion and this type of lifestyle, you know, you don't want it to come across toxic off the bat or problematic or anything like that. You want it to come off as if it's like something that actually works. Not because it doesn't. It obviously does work, because if it didn't, then this type of religion wouldn't exist, point blank period, right? But of course, when you're putting on national TV, you want people to be like, oh, this is nice. You want to warm people in. You know what I mean? But the way times have changed.
Okay. There was definitely a connection with me and Robyn. I just knew that she was a person that I could be friends with, you know, and even more than that, you know, have her in my family and have her love my daughter and all our kids and me love her kids. And, you know, what a blessing it would be to our family and to her as well.
Okay, I don't know if it's just me, but I'm definitely getting a one-sided type situation right now, because again, MERI's the only one saying anything positive at this moment in time. And like I said, Cody, obviously there's not much for him to say because he's potentially getting a 4th wife. Well, at this time it was potentially. Obviously, we know that she became that 4th wife. But that is just the grand scheme of things, you know. That MERI is the only one that's fully on board, you know. And it's crazy how she talks about how she had some sort of connection or whatever. What she say again? Oh man, the word that she used. Either way, she was like, you know, she felt something straight away as soon as as soon as she saw Robyn, she felt something. You know what I mean? Which is a good thing, you know. But I don't want no one to actually answer this question. I'm just saying it out loud because I don't know if people know what down, but I do wonder why. This ain't even a question, I'm just saying this out loud, but I do wonder what really drew Robyn to MERI. You know what I mean? What made MERI think, yeah, Robyn's the one. That's the one that I like. I know there's some of you guys who probably gonna have a. Do you know what? If you've got like an assumption answer, please let me know. But if you got the actual answer, I don't know if I want that spoiler, you know. You know what? Just tell me, man. Just tell me. You know what? Let's get it flooded in the comment section, okay? Why do you think MERI had such an instant connection to Robyn off the bat, but the rest of the wives didn't seem to have that, okay? Because that is very, very interesting. So come on, let me know in the comment section. I'm here for it. You can spoil it. It's okay. I'm saying, but let's get it. Let's see if it can be spoiled. Yeah.
We get along well now because we've
worked through our issues.
You know what? It's just a constant thing. It's like any other friendship that you have. There's ups, there's downs. There's, you know, you learn.
It's the ebb and flow of the relationship.
Yeah.
And we learned each other's quirks, for sure.
And so I'm sorry, but with Robyn coming along,
it just changes everything.
It just changes everything.
It shakes everything up.
You see, this whole episode is literally about, you know, how the women are obviously discussing Robyn's arrival. And Christine, like I said before, because I know her narrative is literally saying that Robyn's coming along, things are going to change, Robyn's coming along, this is gonna happen. Robyn's, because obviously, Christine didn't make it clear in the first episode that she wanted to be the third wife and she wanted to be the final wife because she's like the peacemaker, like the balance, or that's what she wanted, because therefore she's able to scout the other two wives, see how they are, how can she get involved with them, how can she make things work with them, as well as Cody, and then that's what she did. But then when Robyn came in, obviously Robyn then kind of took in that role a little bit. So you could see straight off the bat, right there itself in particular, Christine plotting, what I mean? She's just, but I feel like Christine was trying to plant seeds in some of the other wives' heads, like saying, it's going to be different, but I feel like we should stick together though, that if anything goes wrong with Robyn, we should all kind of gang up against her. That's the subliminal that I'm seeing, but of course, MERI was never going to be on that because, like I said before, MERI's the only one that is 100%, well, not even that, 1000% behind Robyn joining the family. We are family. Forgot the lyrics. Oh, do you know what? I'm just terrible remembering lyrics, to be honest with you. But anyway, let's get it.
I'm starving. She's really cute. I mean, Robyn is really pretty. But honestly, if I was gonna be jealous about anything, it's just the fact that she's so sweet and such a good companion. And I might feel like that I would be replaced based on the companion side of it. Not the jealousy as much as, but that would be it.
For me, the jealousy, I've never, same with you, how she looks.
That's great for Cody. I'm glad he's getting a trophy wife, He's a great guy. He deserves a cute girl. That's great,
Should I say anything else? Didn't think so.
Woman here who wants to be loved by me and courted by me to come into the family. At the same time, if I'm fearing how much it's going to hurt my wives, it'll challenge that pursuit. So it's a fine balance.
It's like,
yeah, balance is definitely going to be the key. And well, the balance became unbalanced at some point, didn't it? But anyway.
where do you find that balance between finding your own happiness, I guess you'd say, building your own relationship, like me building my own relationship with Cody, and then also being sensitive to what they're going through.
This is something that we did choose, but because of emotions and outside influences in our culture, sometimes we struggle with it.
I do like though the honesty and transparency from Cody though, do you know what I mean? Admitting that sometimes it will be a bit of a struggle. So shout out to him that one, if you know what I mean.
Robyn, at all for 3-4 weeks after MERI and Cody did. And so the whole Robyn coming along was making me mad because I hadn't met her. And here Cody's going on and on about her. He prays about it. He gets a testimony that, she is definitely someone that he wants in the family. MERI, same thing, hook, line, and sinker. She's done. And I'm panicking because I haven't met her. I don't know what she's like. Never even seen her before. And I thought it was horrible. I totally felt like I lost my best friend.
And here comes the breakdown by the sounds of it. Damn, Christine wasted no time by dropping tears in season 2. No, in season 1, episode 2.
Totally felt like I lost my best friend.
If I were to put myself in like MERI's or Janelle's or Christine's shoes, I think it would be, I know it would be hard. They love Cody, and for them to see him maybe fall in love with someone else, not that it would make it so that he doesn't love them any less, something like that, but I mean, it would be hard.
Maybe Robyn gave a damn back then, but now,
Comes into a family, she only wants the man, and she doesn't see that he is who he is because of his family. And Robyn sees that Cody is like he is because of his family, because of us, because of his kids.
And Cody's been put through it with MERI and Christine and Janelle, and they've said, they made him a good man. And I want to say thank you to each one of them and just go, you guys awesome, thank you so much.
Watching this, knowing how it turns out, goddamn. But yo, if Robyn knew these things though, you know what? I'm paying Robyn out to be like an ultimate villain, aren't I? I should really stop doing that. But it's so hard not to. But I'm just saying, if all these Cody was here, then what went wrong? Well, clearly Robyn wouldn't have been the only problem. Obviously, MERI would have done certain things which we know of. Janelle would have played her own role, and Christine most certainly definitely would have played a role anyway. So to be honest with you, as much as I can sit here and say Robyn this, Robyn that, the fact is though, for things to turn out the way they turned out, the other wives would have obviously had a role to play as well as Cody himself in particular, because Cody is obviously the main person at this moment in time, and it is meant to be his responsibility to keep everything balanced, but he failed doing that because he obviously started to prioritize one woman over the others. So there's obviously a lot of there's obviously a foundation of many layers that obviously happen over time. I'm not neglecting that, but you know, it's just that, you know when someone says, and you're like, what do I know? Guess what? You know.
Holy heck, seriously, this is awesome.
Nobody in the family would ever call me romantic, I don't think, and I just kind of got overcome by this romantic bug. No self-respecting man would admit this stuff, but I kind of melted.
Damn. Cody was laying down the smack down from the very beginning of meeting Robyn, eh? I mean, don't get me wrong, that he'd been courting for about 4 months though, which according to him is a longer, but he says that that's quite a long time to be courting someone as well. So, clearly that means that's been 4 months of really building something sustainable. Interesting.
before. We know what the outcome will be. We have a fabulous relationship. We know that when we get through this, we'll end up with even a bigger, cooler family going on.
I'm in love with Robyn. That doesn't diminish any of my other wives at all. I'm in love with them. And Robyn gets to pick who she marries, and so she just picks me.
Well. I mean, this episode is only 20 minutes long, though. Obviously, the video's a bit long. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But you know, well. Interesting, eh? Janelle looked a bit emotional there. We all know how this is gonna end. The irony. But listen, at the end of the day though, Robyn's now part of the family, and he wastes no time by bringing a little ring that his daughter made, in fact, and he took away from her to give to Robyn. And it's nice to see him admit his love for Robyn as well as admit his love for his wives as well at that moment in time. But hey, until episode 2, I'll leave it as that, if you dig what I'm saying. But thank you so much, you guys, for coming in and enjoying the content. Make sure you like, you subscribe, maybe become a member if you want to. And most certainly I'll see you guys in the comment section, because that's where the party always is at, if you dig what I'm saying. But thank you so much. Peace.